Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL. And today we're working with this bracelet that I just made. This was pattern 2131 over on friendshipbracelets.net. This one turned out to be a little bit harder than I had thought about, but it would be just because there's like some trade-offs where to make certain colors in certain places, you have to zigzag and do things. So yeah, a little surprised at the difficulty level. It's not terrible, it's just different. I don't know, it could have been that maybe when I was interpreting the pattern, I made some changes. I'm not really sure. I think what partly makes it a little bit harder is those inside of those diamonds where it's like black on top and bottom and then black on side to side with the red alternating to the other spaces of that. I think that is a little bit of the unnecessary part, and I kind of feel like it is part of the whole, no, my pattern isn't the same as the one that's already been put forth. See, mine has little differences here and there. And sometimes that can be really, really cool. And other times it's just adding to the difficulty level for no real payoff. I'm not sure which this is. If this was like the original, maybe there's, you know, other versions that are easier. I don't know. I can say though that I did make one part of it easier, and I realized how much easier it was when it came around to it. And that is in between these chunks where there's these big white, I guess it'd be diamonds. If this pattern was wider, it would be, I would think that the white thing makes a really big diamond. That's kind of vibe that I get off of it. In between it, there's a little space that's all black with red on the edges. And the red does a lot of zigzags. The black has to do a little special stuff in there as well in order to make sure that the black string covers up any of the whites and anything else in there. I shortened that because the overall size of the bracelet, in order to fit 3 of these white pieces into the design, I had to shorten the spaces that was supposed to go in between it, and kind of realized while making it that having shortened those spaces made it considerably easier. Now that happened to work out for the size bracelets that I'm working on. If we were doing, say, single strands as opposed to doubling up our floss, there would be a lot more room for those gaps. In fact, we might even go longer than the original pattern had called for if that had been the case. So it really kind of comes down to what you're doing, how you're making your bracelet, as to whether or not you would have that going for you or not. Like I said, it just sort of really worked out really well for me. I was really happy with the way that the outcome was. So this is the area I was talking about where it's black with the red on the sides. And it's a little tricky because you sort of start to lose references as to where you are in the pattern. It's a little harder to spot like which time of the zigzag on the outer part is correct. Partly what made it easier was it lines up with a straight line that makes an X with the black strands from the top right to the bottom left and the top left to the bottom right. So that kind of did help some. Other than that, it's your typical intermediate bracelet. It's not, definitely not a beginner friendly thing. It does take looking at the pattern frequently. It did take just over an hour. Not too much, maybe 5 minutes or so. Just over an hour to make it. Definitely not my favorite kind of thing. It is pretty. I'll give you that. It ends up, it is a very pretty bracelet. I kind of see the possibility if you didn't put the white thing so symmetrical, it could almost be a paw print, but they went with a symmetrical thing, which is sort of different. I don't know. it's got a lot of interesting features to it. I mean, just wasn't really enjoying myself making it is all. Some bracelets are really a thrill to make and you get excited and you're like, ooh, look at all this. I did not have that with this one. There was just like, oh, okay, I got through that area. Oh, okay, I got through that area. Just happy to see bits be over with. I did try to segment knot it. You can kind of follow along with the way the directions and stuff that I took with it. But I don't know. There were times where I thought maybe I could have done a little bit of a better job. What else can I say? Oh, somehow, like I didn't try to do anything deliberate with the string, try to redirect it to make it, you know, one get used more than the other or whatever. I just let it go its own way. 2 strands of the white floss were considerably shorter than the other 2 strands. Somehow, a couple of them just got used a whole lot more than the others. It didn't turn out to be a problem for the tassels or whatever, but if I had cut the string shorter, like say quarter length, we would have had a problem there. It would have been too short, at least for 2 of the strings. That said, because the pattern, the white strings overlap each other, if you notice that one was getting short, you might be able to trade it up and get the other pair to get used more. It's always a kind of a question of finding that thing early enough along that you can effectively do it. So I don't know which one was particularly the one that was the problem or wherein it became the problem. But yeah, that was a thing. Yeah, there was a little mistake in there. It's supposed to keep zigzagging and I let it go straight. So I had to undo half the knot and change it around. I think that was the only mistake I had in the whole thing. But yeah, it happened. Oh, we're already into the 3rd segment here. I haven't done this. Quick shout out to my YouTube members for making this possible. Thank you guys so much. Even on the patterns I don't enjoy, I still need floss. I still need encouragement. And I really do appreciate it, guys. We got some pretty cool projects coming up here soon. I'm really looking forward to making some really neat things with you guys. So we'll see how that goes. You can kind of tell, yeah, I was gonna say, you can kind of tell it was getting a little curvy, a little not aligned. It was getting too far away from the clip. Moving it closer to the clip is the secret on how to keep the last knots being as nice and tight as the first ones. So yeah, just trust in having a clip. The board I have was something that was meant to be like a stand to kind of block off the view of other people around you if you were trying to study in a library. It's really weird that it just happened to be kind of cool, and I was able to use some of the Japanese paper that's sort of like an off-white, so it's less bright on your eyes. That's what's kind of behind it. So yeah, that's what I'm using. You could use pretty much any kind of board would work, like a checkerboard, or you know, like those little like ones that are like compressed cardboard like that. I've used that before. I've used clipboards, but I still use the binder clip because it holds better than most of the other clips on a clipboard. So yeah, things you can try. All right, guys, here comes the end of it. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. And as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.